Welcome to Customer Service for the Service Technician, a video series designed to provide key examples of the essential skills and habits needed to be successful in your career. After all, there is nothing more important to the customer than customer service. As service technicians, we often get so caught up in developing and honing our trade that we often forget the number one reason that we exist, to service the customer. So let's take a moment to drop the technician and focus on the service. Okay, you've worked hard at learning your trade, made a great first impression with your customer, and you've got your communication skills mastered. Now, how do you keep your customers happy and loyal day after day and year after year? This customer service skill is what makes a good service technician a great service technician. It's all about maintaining the relationship with your customer. This involves communication, consistency, and sometimes a little creativity.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll take care of it. He's on his way. Okay.
Hey, Mark, what's up?
Jeff, I've got a huge amount of calls in here already about it being too hot in some of these stores. Can you check that out immediately?
Yeah, sure, I'll check into that. Can you give me a list of the stores that's having the problem?
Absolutely. Hello, good morning, Galleria. This is Mark. Yes, he is looking at it as we speak. Okay. Yeah, sure. Hold on a second.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I checked two of these stores that are on opposite sides of the mall.
Right.
Both heat pumps are locked out on high pressure safeties,
Right.
which leads me to believe that it's a central system problem. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the cooling tower.
Great, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he's still working on it. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Mark,
Yeah,
it's definitely not the cooling tower.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna check the loop pumps, capacity control valves, both tower pumps, and the heat exchanger next.
Great, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah, he's tracking down the source of the problem right now.
Mark, after checking all the components that are part of the central system,
Right.
it looks like the problem is in the heat exchanger.
Ah,
So I'm gonna run to the shop and pick up the proper tools to measure the water flow through the heat exchanger just to check my suspicions. Okay, and I'll be back with you as soon as possible.
okay, great.
Okay?
I'll see you over there later.
Okay then.
Okay.
Thanks.
Knowledge is power, and by keeping his customer informed while diagnosing the problem, this technician is proving to be more than just a service tech. When performing regular or emergency service, update the customer as often as needed so that they have the fuel needed for them to make service-related decisions and keep their customers informed. Use your judgment on how much and how often, but keep in mind that your customer most likely wants to know what's going on. You've probably been told since the first job you ever had, the customer's always right. Never tell the customer no. Well, while we know that most of the time this is true, there are certain times in this industry when you just cannot agree to a customer's request.
Hey, how's it going?
Well, I tested the water flow of the heat exchanger, and the cooling tower side of the heat exchanger is restricted. Most likely with dirt from the air that is entered through the system through normal cooling tower operations and settles in the water. But what that means is that the system will not allow proper heat transfer.
And what can we do?
Well, it definitely has to be cleaned.
I mean, the heat exchanger needs to be cleaned again?
Yes, it's really necessary for proper flow through the heat exchanger.
Well, listen, can't we install some kind of bypass system on the closed loop end of the heat exchanger so that when you have to clean it, we can just bypass it and keep the heat pumps running. And then that way we don't have to shut down the whole system at night and run up all these overtime charges.
Well, we can still schedule the repairs to the heat exchanger at a time that is more conducive to minimizing costs. But I wouldn't bypass the heat exchanger. I mean, it alters the integrity of the entire system, and if the high pressure safeties fail, it could actually cause the soft plugs release to open on the heat pump's refrigerant side, which creates a lot of safety and environmental hazards. And that's a liability that neither of us can afford to accept.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Saying no to your customer is one of the hardest things to do, but it is sometimes very necessary, especially when safety is a concern. Understand that there may be times when you just cannot meet a customer's request. Some effective ways to say no to a customer are to tell the customer what you can do before you tell them what you cannot do. Explain to the customer why you cannot honor the request, and if possible, refer the customer to someone who may be able to help. Creating options and alternatives for your customer is truly your time to be creative. This is also the opportunity for you to go from the status of being a good service technician to being a great service technician.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
I know you're concerned about the cost and downtime of cleaning that heat exchanger, so I just wanted to discuss a couple of options available to safely and cost-effectively clean it.
Okay. I'm listening.
The first option would be to shut the system down, open it up, and manually clean it.
Okay.
The second option would be to clean it using chemicals. Now, this would be less labor-intensive, but the chances of it working as well as the first option are only 50-50. But if planned properly, I believe the first option provides the best value.
Yeah, but what about those overtime costs?
Well, our standard rates start at 6 a.m., so if we start early in the morning, say 5 a.m. instead of working overnight on it, I figure we could save you at least 4 hours in overtime per man and still get the system up and running before the mall opens.
Okay, let's open it up and clean it. We have to get it done as soon as possible so that our merchants don't lose any business. When can you start?
I can get a crew in here tomorrow morning, which at this point is around, about 12 hours away?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll see you then.
You have a good day now. See you in the morning.
All right.
Take the opportunity with your customer to explore options and alternatives for each service situation. Involve your customer in the process by forming a team. Share information about the problem with each other and collaborate on a solution. Brainstorming. Involve the customer in the thought process and generate ideas together. And compromising. Generate a list of solutions and find one that works for both parties involved. Creating options and alternatives for your customer shows them that you really care about the situation. You are actually making the customer part of your team, which builds pride and confidence. Your customer will be more accepting of your suggestions in the future. This type of customer service will guarantee repeat business and eliminate the competition. Good customer service is a skill in itself. And as you've seen, maintaining the relationship with your customer is another way to establish a healthy relationship during the service call. Like any skill, it takes some work to hone, but eventually it should become second nature, an extension of yourself and your own personality.